me start. I'm gonna do. I'm doing anything but going to Sarah.
Okay, good. You're not going to Sarah?
I'm doing this. My buddy just turned 25.
That she was going to. That you two were going to.
Sarah tells me that every motherfucking
I never
weekend.
confirmed. I said just give me details.
All right. Well, I'm going out in Riverside. He'll be out in Riverside for his lady's birthday.
Oh, yes,
so you're more than
30th.
welcome to join me. Probably in like the Birdies King Street area.
All right.
Um.
Let them finish.
I don't really.
Call him right
who
now
else
so he
is
knows
coming.
we'll just put him on holding.
John,
I don't want him
wants
to
watch college football.
He has something to do at 11:30, which is why.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Good. I love baby.
Okay.
But I want to know what's up.
Okay.
Nah, because I want
Okay. Hibachi.
We'll come out tonight if you're, basically it's going to be a whole bunch of her friends, so I'd rather hang out with you guys instead. It's her 30th birthday. It's a big one.
Okay.
You might not be able to pick up. It's already 11:30.
I want to go.
Maybe. If he doesn't pick up, he doesn't pick up.
Tim, what's going on?
Hey Griffin, man, how's it going?
Doing all right.
Good. So
Also, Tim is here, but all of us are here.
Okay.
So-
I never sent over the transcript. My Wi-Fi is down
okay.
at my house.
Oh, that sucks.
Can we turn that
So
on?
I thrown out the idea to Tim of talking about who we think was going to be in the playoffs and who was going to drop out.
Okay.
Who's going to replace.
Okay. Yeah, we can. Let's do that. I'm totally cool with that. We'll just hit that a little
So
bit.
do we want to like mention the? So we'll mention who
He
made
might
it
not.
last
You don't
year.
have
He might not be able to hear you.
So we'll mention who made it last year, and then we'll have like what 2 teams in each conference to drop out and 2 to drop in. If you think there's that many.
Yeah. Let's see. Who would be?
I've got 2 in the West personally, and in the East.
I just have to look at it for a second, but yeah, I can look at it while
East
it's
I can
going
see
on.
2.
Is there a way to see the standings from last year?
Yeah.
Like the. There we go. I like how you can see the standings by alphabetical, or the teams by alphabetical order.
Yeah.
That has always been so weird to me.
Yeah.
Why do you ever want to look at standings by alphabetical order? Why? Ever? When is that ever useful information?
All the A teams have over 40 wins right now, and actually, you know what's surprising? All the M teams only have under 15 wins.
Dude, inside information.
Yeah, for real. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's do that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sorry about that. Calling you a little bit later. We ended up last minute. I heard Dave King of Bright Side of the Sun, the managing editor, was on satellite radio this morning talking about Markieff Morris, and I shot him out a real quick email, and he came on the show kind of last minute.
Oh wow, no, that's big though.
Yeah, no, it was huge, but that's why we were calling you a little bit late. Is
Yeah,
because
no worries at all.
Yeah, this is gonna be a midweek pretty much because his interview was what
24.
24 minutes. I figure we'll talk with you for at least 15, probably 20 minutes. So we'll probably just make an
Okay.
episode out of this.
That
And
should be-
that'll help us
should be-
catch up on reviews too.
mm-hmm.
It should be nice and loosey goosey, you know, because yeah, should be good.
All right.
Sounds good to
Well,
me.
I know you were starting tailgating, but we won't tell anybody.
Oh, what are you tailgating? What game?
Boston College, Maine.
Oh,
Not a big
hell
one,
yeah.
but first weekend. So.
All right, cool. Yeah, well, okay, we'll
Oh,
get.
speaking of that, I forgot to tell you, I'm not gonna be here in 2 weeks,
That's
so
fine.
we can talk about that later.
We'll make it
but-
work. Okay, yeah. So
Really?
let's get you going so
It's
that
conference
you can
previews, really?
so you can get back to tailgating.
All right, sounds good.
All right, ready? Okay. You
Yep.
good?
Yeah.
All right.
3, 2, 1. And joining us on the line now is the editor of the Drive-In Dish podcast blog, Griffin Connolly. He's on Twitter at Griffin Connolly. Griffin, what's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? I'm doing well. Just enjoying life.
Oh, yeah. So this week's topic is going to be fringe playoff teams. We want to talk about who we think is going to drop in and out of the Western and Eastern Conference playoffs. I think there's, a handful of different teams. So I guess why don't we start in the West? Because, I mean, let's be honest. The Western Conference is much better than the Eastern Conference. The East is getting there, but, come on. It's not
Getting
there.
there. I feel like they've been getting there for a while now.
They're working their way up.
Yeah.
Baby steps. But so the Western
Yeah.
Conference, just to review last year, the 8 playoff teams were the Warriors, the Rockets, the Clippers, the Trailblazers, the Grizzlies, the Spurs, the Mavericks, and the Pelicans. And then the first out was the Thunder, and then Phoenix was 10. So I know personally this year 2 teams that I think are probably going to drop out are Portland and Dallas. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty much general consensus among all of us there.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Maybe I could see the Pelicans maybe not making it. They were so close, but Anthony Davis is just crazy good. So
And he's only going to get better.
I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt there and say I agree with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. The blogosphere is all over the place on the Pelicans. You've got some people that think they're gonna skyrocket up the rankings. You have some people who think they're just gonna sort of fizzle away. I mean, they've got a couple of expiring contracts with. I think actually Tyreek Evans may have 2 years. I have to check into that. But I know Eric Gordon's on his last year. So they have some movable pieces to potentially nab some sort of player before free agency next year. So they can definitely make a play. Their roster may not be the same by the end of the year. But we'll see. I mean, the Pelicans are just a super intriguing team, and people are all over the place on them.
Well, the Pelicans are tricky, too, and I think that one thing that a lot of people have forgotten is that the only reason why the Pelicans made the playoffs last year was because the Thunder miffed, essentially, because they were riddled with injury. It's not – they earned their way in, but they earned their way in due to injury from another team. And one thing with the Pelicans, too, is that Tyreek Evans kind of had his best year last year. Do you think that that's something that we can expect again this coming year?
Yeah, so I have a friend who watches every single New Orleans game. He watched all 82 games last year, and he was just telling me all sorts of good things about Tyreek Evans. I mean, I probably only watched 5 games of the Pelicans last year. Yeah, so apparently, you're right. He had a career year. He's still young. People forget that. He came out, I think, from Memphis as a freshman or something like that. So he's still, it's crazy to think, but he still has room to grow, because, he's just such a well-known NBA name at this point. He's been in the league for so long. But, I mean, that's the thing about the one-and-done era is that people are still growing into their NBA maturity in year 7 or, year 6,
I was going to say, I tweeted out saying, is it safe to say that Tyreek Evans peaked his rookie year? And, man, a lot of fans did not like that comment, to say the least. They were pretty upset with me on that one. So, kind of bit myself.
He's rookie of the year. He certainly had a great year, but he definitely performed well last year. It's unfortunate he had some injury trouble there at the end. We didn't really get to see the full thing in the playoffs, but it's still great to see him out there doing his best.
Well, and the thing about Tyreek Evans too is, last year, his one major fault was kind of end of game situations with the Pelicans. So you have 2 ways that you can look at it, in my opinion, and that's that. A lot of the reason they were even in those games was because of Tyreek Evans. And so can you fault the player that put you in, that you were even in contention in those games, for late game or lack of late game execution?
Right. That's the whole, I hate to bring his name up. It can happen in every NBA conversation. But that's the whole, LeBron James argument from 2 years ago. Everyone was saying he's not, which first off, that's the fallacy. LeBron James has never been unclutch, except for the 2011 finals. He doesn't get a pass on that. But, that's a very good point. There's some people who, they're absolutely essential to even getting you to that point to begin with, or else you're just, I don't know, the freaking 76ers.
Hey now. Whoa. No, okay, so then some of the teams that didn't make it in the West, Phoenix, Utah, Denver, Sacramento, Lakers, and Minnesota, and Oklahoma City, I'm sorry, I missed them. Who do you see getting back in it? I mean, personally, obviously, I feel like Oklahoma City is pretty much...
the given. If they're healthy, there's no way a team with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and Serge Ibaka, if healthy, doesn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, there's just no way. And you know what? Going off what you guys were saying earlier about Oklahoma City, I think it was Tim said it. It was pretty astute. Is that people are saying, okay, there are 2 new spots in the West because Dallas and Portland are likely dropping out, but that's not really true. There's really only 1 spot because Oklahoma City is almost a lock to get into the playoffs if they're healthy. So there's about 4 new teams fighting for 1 spot. If we're saying that Oklahoma City is, perennially in there. And you guys know my position on this. I'm a Jazz guy this year.
Okay.
Definitely on the Jazz bandwagon.
So you think Phoenix isn't going to be able to push it over the Jazz this year?
They very well could. You know, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say, geez, that's tough. I mean, I'd say probably 60-40. I'm leaning to the Jazz.
I'm really high on the Jazz too, and I think that they're going to be a great team.
I think being high on the Jazz is not even an underdog position anymore. It seems like I feel like this year people are finally giving the Jazz their due.
Well, they were so good after the All-Star break last year, but I'm extremely worried about their point guard play. How do you think, Griffin, that the Jazz are going to overcome their lack of any point guards?
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit dissettling, I guess. But the thing is, they've got such a great front court, and Gordon Hayward. People haven't thought about Gordon Hayward for 6 years now, since the 2010 national championship, where he almost beat Duke with Butler. But he's been quietly putting together a great career. I mean, he has a max contract. Charlotte offered him that. Utah matched, and he's super dynamic. He can beat you off the bounce. He can handle the ball. And I mean, we've seen teams before use sort of point guard, by committee, and it's been successful. I mean, when Derrick Rose went down, Chicago was able to employ, any combination of Kirk Heinrich, Aaron Brooks, even John Lucas III, and they still thrived with good coaching and a good front court. So I think obviously you want to have a great point guard leading the way, but I don't think it's something that's going to cripple your team if you don't have it. I mean, even, pre-Exum injury and post-Exum injury, I don't think that this year it hinders their growth that much, because Exum's just not ready to be anywhere close to the elite crop. But that definitely hurts them going forward. It's just another year lost of development. That's the really unfortunate part. But yeah, I don't think it would help them obviously to have a great point guard, but I don't think it's going to torpedo their chances of making the playoffs too much.
Well, and the other thing I wanted to point out, I feel like it's pretty well accepted Portland's going to be out. Oklahoma City's going to take their spot, whether that be wherever in the standings. And I know we're saying Dallas is out, but I still could see Dallas making that 8th spot push. I think we can't write them 100% off. Obviously, I don't think they'll make the 7th seed, but I could see them fighting for the 8th in the West. I know their teams their team's changed a lot, but they still have some very good players on that team. And even though everything that went down with them was crappy, and they would have been a way better team if they were able to keep Jordan for the 94 hours they had him. But I think they still managed to put together a decent team that's going to be able to fight for an 8th spot in the West.
Yeah, they certainly salvaged some parts. I mean, they were able to keep Wes Matthews. Who else am I thinking? They got Darren Williams. They were able to salvage some parts, but obviously they had to spend a little bit more money to entice those players or incentivize them to stay on board. Is a story in and of itself. The problem I see with Dallas is I feel like whoever plays center next to Dirk Nowitzki has to be a good defender. They had Tyson Chandler there to cover his mistakes for a good number of years. Mm-hmm. But Dirk is going on 38 now. If you watch the playoffs, I don't know if you guys remember watching against Houston. They would run this side dribble handoff with Josh Smith and James Harden and toss it back to Smith on the wing, and then I think they got like 3 straight alley-oops with Smith, Dwight Howard off that action. And Dirk is just too slow to recover. And Tyson Chandler is just sort of hung out to dry.
Right.
But, I mean, I think if you have a center who's not as defensively capable as Chandler, it's going to be tough in the interior to stop people from getting easy looks at the basket.
Well, they got JaVale McGee, he's gonna lock it down there.
Yeah, he's a stalwart, so we'll see how that works out.
Exactly. Okay, so let's switch it over to the East.
Yeah, let's go to the East. The top 8, Atlanta, Cleveland, Chicago, Toronto, Washington, Milwaukee, Boston, and Brooklyn. First out was Indiana. Second out was Miami. Now, I know we have differing feelings on Indiana, as you've blogged about extensively before. The three of us think Indiana's lock. I know you don't. I also, and I know Tim is even higher on them than I am, believe that Miami is going to get back into the playoffs. So the question is, of those 8, which of them drop out? Because you imagine that Boston's going to be competitive again. They added David Lee too. Brooklyn is a team that I could see going off the rails a little bit, but they still always seem to find a way to get into that 8 seed because, Billy King. But I don't know. I mean, I think Miami and Indiana are both going to get in, so what's who you see dropping out?
Yeah, I think Brooklyn's gone. I mean, it's in Billy King's job description to get the 8th seed, it seems like. But, yeah, I think Brooklyn's going to drop out. They lost Darren Williams. I mean, for all of his deficiencies and not living up to his contract and everything like that, Darren Williams still had some good nights, and he, was able to carry them on select nights that, they probably wouldn't have been competitive otherwise. I don't see. Really, for me, I'm looking at it right now. I think Miami replaces Brooklyn. I think the rest stands pat. You guys, I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased living in Boston and watching all the Celtics games, but I really think they have a great team, and not a great team actually. I think they have a great coach and a great front office that knows what it's doing. It's real competent.
Well, I think Amir Johnson was a really underrated pickup for you guys. I was watching Kelly Olynyk and FIBA play over the last couple of days, and he's looking really good. I think that David Lee is a really underrated player right now. It seems like everyone's written him off, but if you look at the finals last year, I think that he was part of the reason why Golden State was able to overcome some of the troubles that they were having. And, Avery Bradley is an extremely, extremely pesky defender. So Boston's got some good pieces.
Yeah, they have the makings of a scary backcourt defense with Marcus Smart and Avery Bradley. I mean, Bradley's already been, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, and Marcus Smart's not too far behind. He still has some things to work on. But, I mean, his on-ball defense is pretty spot on. And, yeah, like you said, Amir Johnson, David Lee, those are great 1-2 year front court pickups. And more than that, it's a big-time asset collection move, especially with Johnson and re-signing Jerebko, because those are 2-year contracts with the last year non-guaranteed until, I want to say, July 2nd or 3rd. So they have 48 hours in the free agency period to, poke around and maybe not pick up those contracts if they figure something else out. So, I mean, the whole situation there is real rosy in terms of possibilities. It almost reminds me of the Rockets, how the Rockets built the team pre-James Harden to get James Harden in that trade. I think the Celtics are looking for the next James Harden, maybe a star who hasn't quite blossomed yet, but they have some intel on, and they think that he can bloom in their system. So yeah, the Celtics are another one of those teams that should have a world of possibilities ahead of them.
Yeah, we said.
I mean, Indiana's obviously in the running. To me, again, you guys, it's well documented. I think they need to run a lot of small ball, Paul George 4, or bolster the front court somehow because it's paltry at this point. But what do you guys think?
Well, I know, just kind of sticking with Boston for a second, and to your James Harden point, I think that we've said extensively on the show that Boston and Philly probably have the most assets to offer in terms of a deal like that. And the big difference that we talk about is that, with the Sixers, it's draft picks, so it's a little more unknown. With the Celtics, it's more of, you have a known commodity, you just have a lot of players. So, if that's their goal to build something like that, I think it's working. And at the same time, I also raved about their, Brad Stevens. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches in the league. So, I'm really curious to see what he does in year 2.
Yeah. No, it's interesting to compare the assets that Philly's collected compared to the ones that the Celtics. I mean, clearly the Celtics have a lot of draft picks, but they're sort of on the lower end. What Philly has is they have that Lakers pick, which could be fairly lucrative depending on how the Lakers play this year. I mean, I think they'll be towards the bottom of the Western Conference.
Oh, the Lakers are going to be awful this year. I don't care what anyone says. They're going to be awful this year. I mean, it's not even like everyone's like, oh, they're going to be better. No, they aren't. They're awful.
Yeah.
Swaggy P's going to have an MVP year, man.
Yeah, maybe Kobe just comes back with a vengeance. He's done some sort of
The Black Mamba.
shady knee work or something like that and figures it out for
Well,
the final two rounds.
The Lakers' backcourt defense is Lou Williams, Nick Young, and Kobe Bryant. You can't. That's not acceptable when it comes to defense by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, they're the inverse Mavericks.
Right.
Well, at least they have D'Angelo Russell, though. That's something to be excited
Yeah,
about.
it's not that they don't have anything to be excited about. It's just that they aren't going to be any good.
Oh, yeah, no, they're going to be terrible. It's great. That's why I'm so glad the Sixers have that pick. And with the Kings' protection now, even if the Sixers surprise and win some games, you assume the Kings are going to be pretty bad outside of DeMarcus Cousins, and, that pick swap could be valuable, too.
Yeah. I mean, the Sixers, see, that's the thing, is that their assets are unknown, and that sometimes works in your favor, sometimes doesn't. Depends on who you're dealing with, Because say the Celtics want to get, let's say Boogie Cousins. They put together a package with Amir Johnson, Jerebko, some of the young guys, possibly Bradley, Marcus Smart, and a couple of low-level draft picks. I think they own the Clippers draft pick next year as well as the Mavericks. Is that enticing? You sort of know what you're getting. It's not this, huge package with possibilities of landing a star player. It's like, okay, I'm going to get a couple of role players, have some flexibility, and probably have to rebuild in a couple of years anyway. Might as well scavenge something for Boogie. So it's the Celtics, their assets they're nice pieces individually, but it's hard to add that all up into somehow landing a star. So we'll see what kind of magic Danny Ainge can work.
Well, bringing that back to the Rockets, I mean, what did the Rockets essentially give to Oklahoma City? A couple of nice pieces, but nothing that was huge by any means, and they were still able to acquire James Harden. But to your point earlier, Griffin, the line of trades it took to end up acquiring James Harden was if you track it back from the beginning, that's exactly essentially what the Celtics are doing.
Right, yeah, and the thing is that James Harden don't come around very often. A guy who is a bona fide MVP candidate who people didn't know, who was the sixth man on his previous team. I mean that's essentially what he was. He was a young Manu Ginobili, and the Rockets had this, apparently had some sort of intel on him, thought he could be a star, and he ended up being a star, and ended up not having to give up too much for him because it was a relatively buy low deal at the time.
Oh, they gave up Jeremy Lamb essentially and Kevin Martin. Nothing.
It was essentially, what it was is essentially a 1-year rental of Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb. I want to say they gave up Perry Jones in that deal, and then the draft pick that ended up being Steven Adams.
Right.
So holy hell.
It's maybe the worst trade of all time. It really is maybe the worst trade of all time. And it just looks worse and worse the better Harden gets. I mean, Harden has jumped to me. I mean, I knew Harden was great, but Harden last year, I mean, it was him and Steph Curry. It was their year. I never thought Harden would hit MVP levels.
Yeah, no, I mean, that took everyone by surprise. And he really, for all of his his defensive faculties are lacking, but he stepped up his game a little bit on the end last year. He definitely put in a lot of effort. Made up for, whatever's missing there. So yeah, I mean that's one of the all-time big bozo moves. But it's easy to say in hindsight, obviously, knowing what we know now. But it's even at the time, it was still a head scratcher.
So Griffin, we've been talking about the playoffs, and we're getting ready to do our conference previews. We're going to have you on a lot over the next 2 months, getting ready for the NBA season. But before we start doing all of that, you've been working on a new blog at driveanddishpodcast.com. Can you tell me a little bit about what people have in store this week? Should they go to driveanddishpodcast.com, click on the blog link, and they see your blog? What are they going to see?
So they're going to see an interview transcript, sort of a la the ones that Zach Lowe does on Grantland with PJ Bray. And PJ Bray is he plays over in Europe. He played college ball at Princeton University, and he was on the Knicks Summer League team this year. So he has a lot of good insight about what it's like to play overseas, which is something that a lot of people have been writing on during this NBA dead season. He played with Porzingis. He had some really cool insights on the triangle and what it's like to play for Derek Fisher. So really some good stuff in there. So you guys are just going to get the raw transcript, and it's going to be a really fun read. I banged it out this last week. It's going to be great. Hope everyone enjoys.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you can follow Griffin at Griffin Connolly on Twitter. Make sure you check out that blog at driveindishpodcast.com. Griffin, we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. Looking forward to it.
Awesome, Griffin. Well, enjoy your tailgating today, sir. I hope you don't feel too hungover tomorrow.
Yeah, that's all right. The best cure for a hangover is to keep drinking. So
That's very true.
that's what I'm doing now.
Until you get old like us.
Yeah, until you stop caring and having the energy to do it.
All right, man. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, buddy.
All right, guys. Thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
All right, so we need an intro on that episode. We need a close on that episode, and we need a transition on that episode.
Yep.
And then we'll just make that a midweek. And then we have some reviews in America that we can read. I only have the Aussie review for the one episode, but we've got 3 in America, so I'll pull up one of the American ones. So.
Okay, so let's whip out the transition right here.
Do we have to right here?
Yeah, we gotta do it on the same mic so it's gonna sound right.
Okay, so what are we doing? We're doing an intro.
Well, yeah, let's do the and the outro we have to do.
What do you want to do first?
Let's do the transition because I have Griffin's up now. We'll transition. I'll throw it all into one
Wait,
thing.
transition from what to what?
From
Griffin
Dave.
to Dave.
Are we
Dave
going
to Griffin?
Yeah, Dave.
Oh, Dave to Griffin?
Dave needs to be up front. It's way more important.
Okay, so then hold on. Let me fix that. From Dave to Griffin. Okay.
Yeah. Griffin's is good. Nobody's wrong, but
But I'll throw you up.
What the hell is that? Oh, that's right. Okay.
What you? Oh, dude, that's gonna be so fucking huge on the Suns Reddit.
Oh yeah, dude, it's big. It's
Okay.
He sounded good.
Dude, I love.
He sounds like Peter King a bit. Are they related?
I have no idea.
Peter King's a
Dude.
big NFL writer. He sounds exactly like him a little bit.
It's so nice when they actually fucking know what they're talking about and you can just let them go.
So we have that
like
for
that Orlando guy.
Yeah.
all right. So we have that for this week. That'll be a midweek. Next week is Pacific Division.
Yeah. Can we talk about that later though? Because I'm on a time limit today.
Okay.
Let's hit
I
the
wasn't
transition.
able to prepare for my doctor show last night.
It's not pre-recorded.
Doctor, no, it's live, man.
Well, I'm surprised. I thought Labor Day they just mail one in.
Now it would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
And I'm talking about AFib, so
My dad has AFib.
Right.
I can tell you all about it.
I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Dude, I'm serious. Like, I can really talk to you about AFib.
Okay, let's do this.
But what are we doing? We're
Suns
transitioning.
to Griffin.
Okay.
Suns are. I talked more during the Suns, so I want to do a few transition.
Okay,
All
you
right.
want to do it?
Yeah, I
then?
can lead the transition.
Okay, ready?
3, 2, 1. So thanks again for Dave King for joining us. Really insightful stuff there on the Suns. Make sure you check out brightsideofthesuns.com. It's going to be interesting to see, or
Right side of the sun.
of the sun, right? 3, 2,
Hold on.
1.
Stop. Hold on. Sorry.
3, 2, 1. Make sure you check out brightsideofthesun.com. It'll be interesting to see how the Markieff Morris situation plays out over the next few weeks. But why don't we transition a little bit? This is the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Kevin Rayfuse, Tim Tompkins, Justin Kuzart. You can follow us on Twitter at Drive and Dish NBA. So we spoke as well with our blog editor, Griffin Connolly. He's got a new piece coming up. He's going to tell you about that at the end of the interview. But we had a conversation about fringe playoff teams. We know that Phoenix is in that mix in the Western Conference. So why don't we get into that?
Hold on one second.
Dude, stuck.
Well, I was just thinking, why were you referring to it in the past? We spoke with, not we have Griffin coming on.
I feel like because we say now we hear. I feel like people know they're pre-recorded.
Okay. So now we need an open and a close.
Let's do close first.
It was easy. All right.
So it's you first. Then
Hold on, let me make sure we have everything set up.
Talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. Looking forward to it.
Boom, and then we'll hit it from there.
Okay.
Ready?
All right. So this is closed.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. So thank you everyone very much for listening to this edition of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. I want to say thank you again to Dave King and Griffin Connolly for joining us this week. Really insightful interviews helping out this midweek edition of the show. Again, leave us a review on iTunes, please. We really appreciate it. It helps us move up the rankings, and we love getting your feedback. And, of course, we will read it on the show as always.
And the next time somebody asks you if you know any good podcasts, by all means, please keep us in mind. If you do happen to, for some reason, have an Android, not sure why, but if you do, we're on all of those podcast apps as well, whether it be TuneIn, Player FM, Stitcher, Podbean, it doesn't matter. Take a minute and hit the subscribe button. Also, you can definitely check out Griffin's blog on driveanddishpodcast.com. Just click on the little blog link.
And you can follow us all on Twitter. You can follow the podcast at Drive-In Dish NBA. You can follow me at Justin C on the air. You can follow Tim at Radio Tim NBA, and you can follow Kevin at Refuse to Lose.
Tim, you're gonna get assaulted by Team Android for that comment. All right, so
Intro. We can talk about how I saw Iman Shumpert.
No, we're going to talk about that in the next
That's
one.
this one. Okay.
Okay.
Dude was tall as a
So we
mother.
don't want to talk. Okay, so we don't want to talk about. Oh, is Tiana Taylor performing?
She pregnant as shit too.
Yeah, she is. Shumpert, he put the ultrasound up of his
Yep.
kid on Instagram.
Yep, I saw him. He's the hair is legit. It's
Yeah.
even more legit in real life. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised.
Well, and so you have the review up, and what are we?
What
Yeah,
review-
I got a review.
You have it? Okay, I was gonna
Yeah,
say, do you
I
want me
got
to-
the review? We'll do one of our.
What are we going to
American
talk
ones.
about?
This is a
You want me to
mini
open
one,
up Studio Think Tank?
Sure.
See if there's anything there.
So this.
Well, you know what we can talk about? We can talk about Deflategate.
So our.
I just hate that so much.
So our regular. We can talk about the Blake. That's a quick.
Do we want to talk about? Oh no, because we're gonna use. Okay.
What
wait,
about
so
the girl
this,
with
so
the
is
Barbie?
this one coming up first?
Let's just think.
Or,
Hold on.
we should talk about that.
That is
That's
pretty
good.
funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
we should
yeah, that
do
might be. That's
We
probably
should
on
definitely
Studio
talk
Think
about
Tank.
that. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Should we is the regular episode going up first, or is this one going up first on Monday?
The regular episode we're gonna record is gonna go up on Monday. This will go up Wednesday.
Okay.
And I created a Drive and Dish podcast Reddit, by the way.
Oh, we got
I saw
another
that.
review.
And I've been commenting on things, trying to at least.
Nice.
Ask
I'm
me the
gonna
password.
The Phoenix episode, I'm definitely gonna put up on Reddit.
Yeah, Sixers 1-7.
that'll just be huge for the.
Yeah, because putting it up on the general NBA, like it's hit or miss. Sometimes it gets
If you can
sometimes they
if
don't,
you can
but
put
yeah,
specific
that one
teams.
is
Just
great.
because of the guest, like that alone. Is
Yeah,
gotta be-
absolutely. It's a big guess, dude. I'm glad he came on late.
Yep,
Yeah,
number one
it's
story
like-
on Think Tank: college student with DUI.
No, it's hilarious.
Every state's official word, keyword to being attractive is being weird. Does your cat miss you? No. Tim.
Oh yeah, dude.
Baltimore Ravens are selling a burger with sausage, crab, onion,
Dude,
buffalo.
this shit is hilarious. This new review we got today is the most random shit of all time. I'm fucking dying reading
What
this.
is it?
When someone asked Antoine Walker why he shot so many three-pointers, he responded, "Because there are no fours. This NBA podcast shoots for the stars and chucks hopeful threes on a consistent
Yes!
basis as the aforementioned Walker. Their insights are so close to the pulse of the game, I would compare them with John Stockton's basketball shorts. I like to put on my MJ-endorsed Hanes, light up a Virginia Slim, sip on some
Virginia.
sip on some Sunny D, not the purple stuff, and listen to the podcast while laying on the roof of my Mitsubishi Diamante. I recommend you give them a listen and wish them well."
We got to read that one.
Dude, the visual on that.
But that one's
Dude,
hilarious.
the first one is hilarious. They're all hilarious.
We just gotta do them and let it ride.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll do it in order. All right.
All right, ready?
Yeah. So we're gonna talk. What's
Do you want me to do? I'm gonna pull up the story and I'll read the facts of the story.
Yeah, let's talk about the. Yeah,
That way we can have actually what's going on with it. Okay, ready?
All right, 3, 2, 1. So we would never ever condone drinking and driving. Let's just get this out of the way. We do not encourage this type of behavior. If you are drunk, do not get behind the wheel of a car. Seriously, we're not being sarcastic. Just don't do it.
Started the episode off on a really serious
Well,
note.
'cause I
Like
need
it
to
was
give
just
a
like pop.
warning before we get into the story. You know,
Okay,
I don't want to
okay.
make it seem like we're glorifying driving drunk, but this story is hilarious. So there is a freshman. She's at the, or I think she's a freshman. She's at the University of Texas, I believe it is.
Berkeley, California, right?
Nope. San Marcos, Texas.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
all right.
Oh, okay, yeah, here we go. Texas State University is where she at, and this chick got a DUI or
Yes.
DWI, excuse me. So driving while under the influence, and so she can't drive a car. Or I believe, did her dad take it away? I think her dad took it back.
Her dad took it away from her, and so college campuses can be very spaced out. I know
Absolutely.
I got lucky where everything I had to go to was within a 10-minute walk, so it didn't
My
suck.
one dorm at Hofstra, to get to one side of the campus to the other, it was legit over a mile walk. And
Really?
I know places like Stanford, for example.
Oh yeah, you got to go
Stanford is
wild.
huge.
Anybody in I know Kutztown's kind of the same way. It's a pretty good walk to get to class. But so what she did is she went to she actually went to Craigslist. Sorry, and she bought a Barbie toy Jeep. Now, this thing runs on a 12-volt battery and maxes out, man. She's speeding at 5 miles per hour. And the pictures of her driving around in this thing, dude, like, I can't handle it. Like,
I'm not even mad at it.
I bet you that's what Shaq looks like in a normal car.
Like,
Like,
you guys remember that commercial of Shaq where I think he was like,
He's
he
in
was
a
in
Buick.
was it a Buick? I was thinking a Kia. but-
yeah. So, you know, apparently a bunch of people have taken to social media with this and just given her 15 minutes of fame because of this. But my thing is, that's...
That her mugshot looks pretty good. Is that your thing?
Well, no, that kind of, yeah. But I was also thinking, like, that's still technically driving.
Well, you know what I found out you could get in Arizona that I wasn't aware of, and it still makes me mad, is you can get a DUI on a bike.
No, yeah, that's
So-
absolutely, that's the thing everywhere. You can get DUI on a bike, you can get DUI on, I think you can get DUI if you're like skateboarding.
So I have
That's not right, because if you get drunk...
You are driving a vehicle.
No,
That is
if
a
you
vehicle.
get drunk, don't drive your car back. Drive a bike. There's
Well, no,
zero
I
reason why
love-
you ever get DUI on a bike.
What if you're really hammered and lose control of your bike and cause an accident?
Yeah. But I will say,
That's
I-
plausible.
You're right. Anything's plausible.
okay, you know, and Tim, here's my story with that, is when Four Locos were a big thing.
Did you get a DUI on a bike?
No.
I would be so pissed if I got a DUI on a bike.
My dad did. My dad's gonna hate that I just said that. But okay, so
Wait, your dad got a DUI on a bicycle?
yeah, but he ended up. The whole thing was he was riding home in Ocean City, New Jersey. He was riding home. The cops stopped him on his bike, and he ended up getting in a lot of trouble. But it turned out he somehow knew the cops. The cop didn't actually give him a DUI. He was supposed to, but the cop drove him home. But on the way home, my dad asked the cop to stop at CVS so he could go buy a pack of cigarettes.
How does that work out for him?
They let him do it. But
Dude, that is American justice at its finest. You know the cop, you're off the hook.
But okay, so my side of the story is there's Four Locos, man. I was at a friend's house. We were drinking Four Locos. I'm riding and this back to the whole, I live in a fucking Farmville area. I'm riding my bike back home, and there's this place called Hatfield Meatpacking,
Of course.
where they slaughter the shit out of pigs. And one must have escaped, and I'm driving my bike home, and I nailed that fucker on the bike. I busted my ass so bad. I was all cut up. The poor pig got really hurt, too. Yeah, it was a really traumatizing time.
So is it because of you that there are DWIs and DUIs?
No,
on
it's definitely
bicycles?
not because of me, but I could see how it can go wrong. I was drunk, I hit a pig.
Right.
Who would have thought? So, actually, you know, one of our listeners is from Lansdale. He was hitting us up on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw. Hey, also, speaking of our Twitter, which by all means send us a tweet on Twitter because we're bored and we enjoy it. We apparently do have a female
There's
listener.
a few of them, yeah. Thank you for that.
Awesome.
Well, Tim, stop
Tim,
alienating
scare
us.
off.
Well, she hit us up and she was saying, actually, what was funny is the conversation that she said she enjoyed
Well,
the
give her some
most.
love. What's her Twitter name? I thought you'd have that shit up, man. Come on.
I'm sorry, yeah, her name.
Also, you got to take out the cussing on this episode
Oh.
in particular because of the guest we have.
I'll make sure we take it out.
Oh,
Slaughter the shit.
No, but I want to make sure it gets as much humanly play as possible.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually, yes.
I'll take it out. Yeah, don't worry. Her name's Robbie McKernan.
Well, what's it? Just at
McKernan. At usually ATZ 2846.
Okay, well, I'll let you do that.
Okay.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, let's show her some love. Her username handle is usually at Z2846.
Yeah, so she hit us up and she said that the conversation she really enjoyed out of the entire podcast was the pickup lines conversation that we were having during our mailbag section. And so I asked her what's been your favorite pickup line
Oh,
you've
yeah.
heard. And she said, didn't we not go to school together? Way to break the ice. Like,
I mean, hey, it'll work. I'm going to try it.
I mean, if I didn't have a ball already, I'd keep that in my arsenal.
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
I guess yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome to the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rayfuse. Joining me to my left, my co-host Tim Tompkins.
Baldwin Y.
And behind the boards, keeping us honest as always, our producer Justin Kuzar.
Giggity.
Giggity.
All right, so we got a review on iTunes this week.
Mm.
We are coming back to America. We've had like 3 or 4 straight weeks of international reviews. We gotta
Yeah, man,
gotta bring it
everyone's
back to
showing us some
homeland.
love.
We are, and we've actually now. I said they're coming in bunches. So
They
again,
are.
we have seen your review. If you've left it up to this point, we promise we are going to read it on another episode. But we gotta, go in date order here. and be
Date
fair.
order. We got to show love in order
Absolutely.
of the
So-
love coming in.
So this review comes from TG Wanton. It's called Nothing Like Sitting Back and Listening. It's a 5-star review. He says, I found this podcast in late 2014 while I needed something to listen to while I biked to and from school. The 3 guys on the podcast are great in keeping everyone entertained all the time, especially with their long intros. Although random, are really funny to listen to and a great way to start the show and set the mood. Their basketball insight is also on point with solid opinions on current events in the league, salary cap problems, and who's good and who's bad in the NBA. Overall, if you're looking for a nice NBA podcast to listen to in your free or busy time, subscribe to these guys. They keep it real.
Well, thank you. Be careful. Don't drive your bike drunk because you might hit a pig and or get arrested.
Yeah, also I feel like we know nothing about salary cap situations.
I do.
Well, I mean, well, we look it up, but we are by no means salary cap experts.
No,
It's pleasant of him to say that, but I mean, come on. This is not that, we are not salary
You
cap
always
guys.
shoot down our compliments.
Every single one.
Time.
Thank you. You suck.
Well, I also stand up for us sometimes when they leave a bad one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
thankfully, we haven't had too many bad ones recently.
Well, there's one we're going to read in a couple of weeks that also says the cons of the show.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
5-star review, though.
Right. But I can't wait to talk about the reason for one of those complaints.
Absolutely.
Because
I'm
it's
excited.
It's super valid.
It is very valid. We were talking about this.
We're aware. There's just not much we can do about it.
Oh, there's so much we can
I
do
mean,
about it. We
there
just
is,
won't.
I guess.
Right.
We're getting off track.
We are. Let's get into news.
All right. Cool.
Okay. Got to record now.
All right. So that